Hi, my name is Tina. Welcome to Hebraic Awakening, and I am going to talk about how Torah is embedded in the Ghanaian culture. I went to Ghana, Africa at the beginning of June. I stayed 2 weeks, and I wanted to see how Torah, our history, our culture would come alive when we set foot on the continent or the motherland. And I've been walking in Torah since 2009, and I was just blown away at seeing the culture come alive. Just little bitty things that would be like, oh, now I get it, and so please understand that this is my experience from the 2 weeks that I have been here. Been out on the continent, and that this is not to say that there is no crime, there is no injustice done. This is to say how Torah is built into the culture and how people are living Torah without even knowing that they're doing it as a whole. We're going to always have Negroes everywhere we go when we are visiting different countries, okay? So you cannot go to another country and think that it's going to be perfect, but you will see Torah built into different cultures where our people have lived. So I've already talked about the respect for the elders. If you have not watched my previous video, please do. That is Torah culture, having high honor and respect for your elders, right? So that is a part of Torah culture. And again, my husband was called father, I was called mother. I was made to sit everywhere I went if I was standing more than 2 to 5 minutes. And it was just beautiful to see the high respect that they have for the elders, so that's just beautiful to me. And thank you all for sending your love offering to help the elders. You all don't even know, and I'll talk about that in another video, how we have to walk out Torah and what it does for the community. Okay, another thing. Now, I thought this was wild, right? When you call the police on someone, okay, and say they came in and they broke into your house and you had to call the police, you are responsible for basically feeding them while they are in prison. And they're waiting, right? So you're not responsible for the whole duration of their prison sentence, but how you are put in jail and you're awaiting your trial, or you're waiting to see the judge. Once you've seen the judge and you're officially a part of the system, then they begin to take care of them. But when they're just sitting around waiting for their trial, you are responsible to bring them food while they are awaiting the trial. And I know some people are gonna be like, I don't want to take it. But really, for me, it really is innocent until proven guilty. Okay, even if they was breaking inside your house and you saw it, they have to be tried and they have to, go into the system. And I thought that was wild, but then I really understood I am my brother's keeper, and we have to have witnesses. We have to have a fair trial, and innocent until proven guilty. And again, this is just my little take and what I was told, especially when someone gets into an accident. You need to go and see them at the hospital and bring them food and visit them, especially if they got hurt on your watch, right? And so we know someone who was working for them and they fell and they hurt themselves. And so, the other workers took the person and they took it upon themselves to sit up at the hospital with them on the behalf of the owner who, was supposed to do it, but the workers did it for this person. And I thought that was so like Torah. I thought that was so Torah, because y'all forgive the background noise, you are able to see I am my brother's keeper. You are able to see the love and the community already built into the culture. Now, do every single person practice this? I do not know, but I'm just sharing instances when I was there. I'm like, whoa, this is Torah culture. Another thing was the shalom that was felt, like immediately. The people are calm in nature. And what I mean by that, we know that our African brothers and sisters, they are passionate, and they can be loud and they can be lit. However, just on a constant basis, when you're doing business with them, when you are talking with them, they have a very calm demeanor. And the atmosphere was so calming that me and my husband kept falling asleep. Like the first week, especially my husband, he kept falling asleep everywhere we went. And I knew that he was at rest, that he was at peace, because in my previous video, I told you that he is a very masculine black man, and he stands 6'4", 300 pounds, and he's very intimidating to these American men, even black men included. And there's not a lot of masculine men here. It just is what it is. Y'all already know, without me saying, what is going on. So when he got there and he realized everybody around him looked like him, they embraced him, he was able to relax. Because one thing that I talk about in my trauma bonding, and when I'm dealing with trauma, I talk a lot about how we are constantly in fight or flight mode every day, everywhere we go. And it's not just coming from white people. We are in constant fight or flight mode. Our head is on the swivel because of everything and everybody. We have to watch out for us. We have to watch out for other people. And it's nerve-wracking because this nation is built on fear, blood, lies, deceit, rape, and so forth. And so when you go there, it's not to say that they do not have any injustices, that they do not have any crime, but it is not nearly as much as it is in the West. So something else that really just inspired me was when we were having Midrash with Rabbi Byers at his home, and he goes out in the community and he talks to them, and he engages them in Torah. And one thing that I found fascinating is that every Ghanaian that he spoke with, when he asked which day is the Sabbath day, everyone said Saturday. Everyone knew that the Shabbat is on the seventh day. It was not one person who said Shabbat or the Sabbath is on Sunday, not one. And so that's something that's embedded into their culture. And when we were midrashing, we were talking about the Torah portion when the spies came to spy out the land, and they were supposed to bring back a good report. However, before we got to that, we had to discuss Shavuot. So we were going through the scriptures for Shavuot, talking about how, we celebrated. And the families that were there, they were putting the context clues together. And they said, you know what? We bring our first fruit offerings all the time. And they talked about how on Shavuot, on a Sunday, the last Sunday before we came, that the churches from all over brought their first fruit offering to the churches. That is a custom that they do, and they bring the best of the best. Now, this is what the churches do. And it was as if the book just opened up to them, because they realized that this is something culturally that they practice, that their ancestors passed down to them. and they don't know where it came from. All they know is that they practice it. So you see how colonization kind of wiped some things away from them, because Ghanaians, they will tell you that they come from the east and that they travel down, but they don't tell you where they were in the east, right? And so, this is where we can come in and, encourage one another and show each other Torah, because as an African American, you're reading, you're studying, but you don't have all of the puzzle pieces, and that's where I don't like the haughtiness of our people, because we come in and say, see, we know you came from Israel. We know you. No, listen and humble ourselves. So as we begin to talk about Torah and what you are supposed to do, they are already doing it. And that's what I love about going to Ghana. It's not so much that they are talking about Torah, but they are living Torah. Okay? The animals were at peace. The children were at peace. The women were at peace. I promise I did not hear the dogs barking not once when I was there, except for on Shavuot. Rabbi Kohei's dog barked, right? But the other dogs, the stray dogs, just will come up to you so peaceful. And I was like, I'm not used to it, because, some of us is afraid of dogs, just stray dogs. And you come up running and you come up, walking up on me. But they were so peaceful. I mean, the animals on the side of the road, peaceful. You better not hit an animal. You better not hit an animal. We saw a donkey just strolling. He was like just walking, minding his own business, and everybody around him, they were minding their own business. And I'm sure someone probably would have gotten the donkey and took him back to where he belonged. But the peace, the children, my nerves was on edge watching the children walk by themselves places. But they were protected, because when the men are masculine and they are protecting and providing for the community like they are supposed to, the women can stand down and the children can be at peace. I saw so many children walking to school, little bitty somethings, walking to school. And I'm like, and the way that they drive, y'all, driving is off the chain there. But the way that they drive, I was like, but no, you better not hit them. They value life, right? So I'm not going to talk about that. Like, if you hit somebody or kill somebody, what's going to happen to you? But it was just so beautiful to see that the children were even at peace. They could just walk to school and be. The women at night, ooh-wee, I was like, why are the women walking around at night by themselves? It's dark out here, and I seen them go up inside what I would call an alley, but go in around the building. It wasn't no light, and they going about their business. And the men on the streets, and I seen the men, and I'm watching them, and I'm watching the woman walk by, and she don't have a care in the world. And the men are not, hey, ma, what's going on? Trying to get with her. I kept seeing that over and over again, the respect that they have for one another culturally. Okay? Again, I'm not saying that stuff don't go down. I'm talking about what I saw there for 2 weeks, looking at how the people treat one another. And that's a big one for me, because I'm not walking nowhere by myself at night, even in a really great neighborhood, because y'all know, in a really great neighborhood, to me, that's where the kidnappings go on. So I am not walking nowhere at night by myself, not here in nobody's America. But there they were walking. It was just so peaceful. The businesses, oh my goodness, the cities named after biblical names, the businesses named after biblical names. I'm talking about a dry cleaner, Shalom in our home dry cleaners, just everything. I don't care if they was a hardware store. It was going to be biblical. Your Majesty's hardware store. Like, everything was so biblical. It was so ingrained in the businesses. Now, I know there's some YouTube videos out there, speaking on the negatives of Africa. Now, I'm going to tell you this. With me, I'm not taking it there. because Africa has had a negative image for years and years and years and years and years by our oppressors to paint it in a negative light. So we already know that there are negatives there. Now, when you want to go and you want to know how to conduct yourself, how to move, what to look out for, that's going to be done in my private community. Because, I understand other channels, what they're trying to do, and I don't have nothing to say about nobody else's channel and how other people do things. But over here, there are things to look out for. There are ways to conduct yourself as a foreigner, and I know we don't like to say that, but you are a foreigner when you're coming into someone else's country. So that will be discussed in our private community for those that are really interested in going, because we got some exciting news to announce once we get everything done for 2024. However, I will not be doing that on this channel. No, I'm not trying to paint Africa as a bed of roses. This is from my perspective, and as a Torah teacher and as someone who just loves to travel, I am coming with my own experience, but I'm going to leave the negative things out of these public videos, because to me, it just amplifies your fears. There are still some people that ask, they got lights in Africa? It's still that going on in 2023. So it's a no for me. But just some of the things that I saw, how Torah is just embedded in the culture, it was just so beautiful. Again, of course, there are things going on. Do people tell a lie? Yes. Is there rape there? I'm sure it is. That's a no-brainer. We all should be mature enough to know that people are going to be people everywhere that you go. But I'm talking about culture, and that's something that African Americans have a hard time understanding. And I'm not going to get into Black American culture and we think we have our own culture. I'm not going to get into that because I got a whole argument about that. I think that African Americans have a subculture, conglomerates of cultures mixed together, because that's just what we have. But that's just my personal opinion, and ain't nobody asked me. However, the culture that I saw from my viewpoint and understanding the Bible that I read, it just came alive. Even the little things, as people taking a nap on the streets. And now that I'm wearing more braid styles and locks and things of that nature, when people take a nap, they just take a nap anywhere. And I do mean anywhere. I mean this literally, like on the park benches, on the ground, they're taking naps. And when I saw that, Yaakov came to mind. When he went to the place that Yah led him to, and he laid his head on a rock, and it said that he had locks, and he rested, and Yah gave him the vision in that place. When I saw them sleeping on the ground, that popped into my head, because as I was reading about Yaakov, my mind be like, how he sleep on the ground? How he put his head on a rock and went to sleep and saw a vision? I bet you that was so uncomfortable. That's how my mind is thinking, because I'm inquisitive. I want to know when, where, how, and why. Why would you put your head on a rock? So that's my Western mindset as I was reading Yaakov's story, especially as a Christian. Now, as I'm studying Torah, it kind of, made sense. But when I went there to the land and saw the people and saw what they did, I'm talking about on the ground, y'all, nothing laying on the ground, just on the ground, taking a nap. It just made that portion of Torah and that story come alive. The fruit trees, the land is lush, fruits bearing seeds and just reproducing. How one farmer that we met, they don't even weed. They let the weeds grow up with the plant, and they can tell the difference between the weed and the plant. And at harvest time, they know what to do. Like that scripture came alive with Hamashiach saying, leave the weeds alone, leave the tares alone, let them grow up, and I'm gonna come and take them out. and burn them up. You know, that's not your job to do. So it just made Torah come alive, y'all. So, you know, continue. I know I'm putting these videos out slow, but it's so much going on. I mean, the prophetic year that talks about this will be the year of movement. Let me tell y'all, we've been moving and moving and going and going and going. And I'm like, man, I am so honored to be awakened for such a time as this and to return back to Torah and to return back to our biblical calendar, which prophesies and gives us instructions month to month and year to year. So this is the year of movement. And there are so many things and so many doors that are opening. I can't wait to get to 5784, where we go from moving to walking through the door of access. I'm so excited and so honored and so blessed to be able to just be chosen by Yah. And I pray that I make it in. So if you want to see the next video, and I think I'm going to share with you all things that we did, you know, places that we went to and how we were affected by that. So I know I'm putting them out a little slow, but y'all work with me. I'll have another video up this week. All right. And just continue to pray, continue to be a light, and please help us to honor our widows and our elders and the disabled. You know, look at the link below and please continue to support the ministry. All right. And I'll do a video about that, about, you know, how captivity is tied to us not taking care of the poor. And I'm going to give you a scripture reference for that. And I'm going to give you where one king, you know, was taken captive, and we were taken captive right in the month of Av, and the poor were left, and Yah honored them and left them as a remnant, as a promise, and how that is directly tied to a captivity that had taken place within our nation. You know, we got to stop doing the same thing over and over, y'all. So let's get it right. Let's get it right. All right, until the next video, shalom, everyone.